players to watch during preseason, who are you most interested to see for your own eyes in a real setting with tackling?
Trey Sermon. That's the guy I'm most excited to see, especially because running backs are the players that get the longest leash in preseason and get the most carries. And I think that I don't think Raheem Mostert is going to see the ball very much in preseason at all, because he's a guy that they just got to get to the season healthy, just because he manages a lot of lower leg injuries. And people aren't supposed to move as fast as Raheem Mostert moves. So obviously it's a more fragile. He's a little more fragile because he's so explosive and fast. And so I'm hoping Trey Sermon gets maybe, 20 carries in preseason, because I really liked him in Ohio State. If they drafted somebody else who I didn't like, or any other running back, I think I would have criticized the move of trading up to get a running back in round 3, especially when corner was such a need. But I like the player so much I couldn't criticize it. I think he was a hell of a player at both Oklahoma and Ohio State. I'm really excited for Trey Sermon, and that's the guy I want to see, because they keep talking about his receiving, and we didn't get glimpses of his receiving ability much. We got a little bit in Oklahoma, not much in Ohio State, and that's what
his
I want
route
to
running.
see. Yeah, I want to see those aspects of him. And then, of course, I want to see his burst and physicality and power and all of that. And then final thing I want to see is, it feels like the way everybody keeps talking about the first team reps he's getting. I've been telling people who come to me for fantasy advice, though I don't play fantasy football anymore, that Trey Sermon might be a Sony Michel 2018 type play, where he starts off the season slow, you stash him on your bench, and then by week 8, week 9, the way Cam Akers did last year, he's getting about 20 carries a game. So I want to see if he's really capable of being that guy, because I didn't get to see him since he played college football.
I get the feeling that Trey Sermon is going to play more when Lance becomes the starter, because when Jimmy's in there, you do a lot of under center running, and they're talking about, like, it's very new to Trey Sermon. Like, you can't see the snap when you're in I formation. You have to hear the snap count. When you're in the gun, you're just watching. And so it's different. They're going to be, all the zone read stuff is going to be him. It's going to be Trey and Trey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like how they drafted Carlos Hyde for Kaepernick.
Exactly. I was just about to bring that name up.
Because remember, Hyde was really effective from the gun at first.
Yes. He struggled with the under center run game. He was made
Ohio State running back.
He was better than Frank Gore at the shotgun run game. Frank Gore wasn't great at the shotgun run game relative.
That's right. So I think Trey Sermon's a much better player than Carlos Hyde, but it could be a same kind of transition. Yeah, I do. I never thought that Carlos Hyde had the agility that Trey Sermon has.
I don't think he was as explosive either, but Carlos Hyde, when he was drafted, was he was pretty nice looking back.
He was good. Yeah. Timothy gives us 50. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. So he says, I'm not too worried about Bosa not practicing. I hope to see him available week 1 with a gradually increasing game day workload that gets him through the season healthy. D Ford has been a surprise and can really be a defensive difference maker this year. That's good. It seems like Bosa is in control of what he's doing. And, I will say this. In 2019, I didn't think he was going to play week 1 either. I thought that high ankle sprain was going to keep him out, and he was going to be real slow with his rehab. But it seemed like it meant a lot to him to prove that he's not injury prone and to be out there week 1.
100%. I think the gradual increase, I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. So I'm not that worried about Bosa, though I'm a tad bit worried. My one concern with Nick Bosa, honestly, and this is a good thing about the athlete, but you know how you have to, Shanahan sometimes talks about how they have to protect like George Kittle from himself because he wants to come back too early sometimes from his injuries and they have to hold him out. Nick Bosa, when he's on the field, he plays so hard, hard. He competes every snap like it's his last snap ever. And it's one of his best traits that's least talked about is just what a great competitor he is. That's where I think they might have to protect him from himself. He's coming off the injury. He's a long-term key investment for the 49ers because he's such a good player, where he might come in and he might dominate week 1 and they might want to keep him on a bit longer just because he's playing so well. But he plays so hard that you have to kind of ease him, I guess, into shape.
Ravi says, do you think we make too much of Jimmy or Trey making certain throws every now and then? I mean, they're pros. They should do that once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
making that throw yesterday to Debo, everyone was like, "Oh, I thought you said he could do that." It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
My cousin
Yeah.
immediately texted me. He goes, "Do you think I'm being a hater if I feel that every NFL quarterback should be able to make this throw?" And I was like, "No, I don't think you're being a hater. It's still a dot. It was a great throw,
It was.
but it's also a throw that, a quarterback that's the caliber of Jimmy Garoppolo, which is a solid NFL starting quarterback, should be able to make." And I wish I could get the video of the full play, but from what I saw in the angle, they said the safety Hufanga did not take a great angle to the football. He was
And a
running to
linebacker
the
was in
football.
man-to-man coverage.
Right, he was running to the football as if he was Earl Thomas, and he had that level of explosion and speed trying to cut off Debo, and Debo went by him.
Ben says impact defensive player for Jimmy G midseason.
No,
Maybe.
I don't think that'll happen.
I think what they'll get is a pick and maybe a quarterback. Maybe they'll get Tyrod Taylor in return. They really want to back up. Frank says, we see all the big plays, but are they making the right reads in the system? Big plays, but could be wrong reads. Jimmy might have that edge. Shrug. Wrong reads with big plays? I don't know.
Well, I
couldn't tell you. I'm not in the meeting room.
Yeah, I don't see the practice, so I don't know. But the one thing I will say is that I do know this because I do have the 49ers 2018 install, thanks to a few people. If you know the concept, which I do know quite a few of the 49ers common concepts, both in the run and pass game, Jimmy G doesn't always make the right decision on where to go with the football based on the concept, at least the way it's written in the playbook. And you can sometimes see Kyle Shanahan's reaction on the sideline with an angry slap of his knees. So you get a little more conviction that you were right. So I don't know if he has the edge per se in that department.
Matthew says, guys, it's my weekly fantasy check-in. Last time you chose Debo over Ayuk. Sticking with that, still fading Kittle to 60 catches and under 8 TDs. Yeah, Debo missed one day. He looks great.
I'm sticking with Debo over Ayuk. I've already gone out on a limb. I think if Debo's healthy this season, 2012 Percy Harvin type stuff. If they let him return kicks too, I think he'll be a special teams factor as well. I wouldn't fade Kittle to 60 catches. I think he'll have more, but I'm fading him under 8 touchdowns for sure.
Yeah.
Again, I mentioned this
I'm not
last
sure
time.
that he's going to have more than 60 catches. Keep that in mind, Matthew.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But no Kyle Shanahan. There might not be enough attempts, honestly, to get him 60 catches. That's fair. But no Kyle Shanahan wide receiver has ever had, or no Kyle Shanahan receiver in 13 years has ever had more than 10 touchdowns with him. The highest is 9, Andre Johnson.
That's good knowledge right there. Curtis says, would you guys say our D-line is legitimately 8 to 10 deep or a product of a weak O-line? It's 8 to 10 deep when healthy, but right now it's a little thin considering 5 guys are out.
I can answer this based on what I've seen because I've watched all the guys in the prior NFL spots. Obviously, I'm not at camp, whatever, and I do think it is 8 to 10 deep. Like Mo Hurst is a pretty good player.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't know why the Raiders got rid of him and signed Solomon Thomas to be their 3 technique.
Mo Hurst can shoot a gap. Solomon Thomas can't. So I don't know what they were thinking there. Yeah, they have so many promising defensive tackles. Arden Key's kind of interesting on the edge. Jordan Willis, I kind of liked last year. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Jordan Willis wasn't too bad. He was pretty
he's
good.
Explosive. Yeah, and big.